In the early 17th century, when Europeans settled among the native lands, Europe received the news of what they called the New World. Many individuals, rich and poor, sailed across seas for the opportunity of a fresh start and a new life. Unfortunately, the opportunities varied upon the economic status, race, class, and gender of the individual.
Okay, so when the English colonists first invaded North America and founded Jamestown, Virginia in the early 1600s, scarcity led to their dependency on the cultivations of the natural savagery and inferiority of the Algonquins. A reliance that angered the invaders, as the labor was exercised by women, which failed to follow the English standardized wifely role of passivity. However, sometime later, the colonists began to start their own plantations.
This was an opportunity for the white man to pursue a new life filled with wealth and properties.
The limited labor supply for this agriculture increased slavery populations, an emergence that occurred in August 1619 when Jamestown received their first African cargo. Crops also multiplied landowners' earnings, properties, labor, and social stratification.
Although many Africans were enslaved, few considered their limited opportunities to escape and receive a better living condition. Blacks like Anthony Johnson came to Jamestown in that first African cargo as a slave. Fortunately, he had the privilege of being a free man to own slaves.
Being a successful tobacco grower granted his wealth and right for a lifelong bondage.
For being a wealthy man, Johnson was able to keep his land and slaves. Other blacks considered running away or joining the American Revolutionary War during the 18th century.
In the 18th century, during the American Revolution War, American soldiers fought for their independence as a nation against the British colonies. While white American soldiers fought for their independence, black enslaved men fought for their freedom. In November 1775, the royal governor, Lord Dunmore, granted freedom to any American slave or indentured servant who escaped their master to serve in the British lines. Unfortunately, only 20% or less gained the freedom and survived the war.
For a white man, opportunities are unlimited, while the black man struggles to reach for success with limited opportunities. From race to gender, both topics have similar turnouts. 1838. I have one of the best homes and good society, which is a good deal better than I can have there at home. Look at the company I should be with, a profane Sabbath set, and I can never be happy there in among so many mountains. I feel as though I have worn out shoes and strength enough riding and walking over the mountains. I think it would be more consistent to save my strength to raise my boys, and I shall need all I've got. And as for marrying and setting in that wilderness, I won't. Sincerely, Sally Rice.
Sally Rice was a 19-year-old mother of two who moved out of the farm to seek for a better life for not only her but for her sons as well. She believed that her opportunities would be greater as a servant in New York rather than just being a wife back at home. Although she was a woman, she did have the advantages of being white and going to be able to work and earn her own money. Maybe not a lot of money, but it would be better than if she was living at home and just being a wife. This broke the standard of being a female and the ideology of patriarchy.
Although her opportunities were limited due to her gender, as a white woman she was able to receive a much better opportunity than a black woman in the 19th century. As for the white men, they still remain with countless opportunities.
Alexander Hamilton is significant to our history because he is one of the founding fathers of the United States and he was the first Secretary of Treasury appointed by George Washington. He was born in the Caribbean and growing up he had a rough childhood. His father abandoned him at a young age and his mother died, and eventually he moves in with a cousin who committed suicide. He was very poor growing up and that made him strive for greatness and increase his knowledge. Someone saw the potential Hamilton had and sponsored his trip and shipped him to mainland America, where he began to get an education. Although, although life was difficult for Alexander Hamilton, he was a very brilliant white man, which was what saved him from his misery in the Caribbean.
White men like Alexander Hamilton continued to have the privilege of earning wealth and power without any struggles or limits. In the New World, the limit of opportunities were based on the individual's class, race, and gender. Overall, possibilities still existed among all, making the New World the land of opportunities.